Hey team, welcome to the Baby Playbook Podcast for yet another week. I am loving getting these podcast episodes out to you. I'm loving hearing your feedback on all the very useful information that you're getting from these podcasts. I want to explain again that the Baby Playbook Podcast is basically a podcast that I wish I had listened to. I had around before I had my babies and whilst I was going through the first 6 months of parenting, just having all that information out there to kind of consume, to be taught, because we tend to just go into parenting in this oblivion, and then all these things come at us: baby solids, baby sleep, baby milk, all these things, and we just have to try and figure it out all for ourselves in the chaos of it. So I want to get you prepared. I want to give you some backstory, some back information to help you make decisions during this time as well, because that can be really, really challenging as a new parent, especially when you're super exhausted and super sleep deprived. So this week's episode is a super simple one, guys, and for everybody that's actually watching on YouTube right now and can actually see me and my face, I apologize for the fact that I am in activewear at the moment and I'm not looking too intense because I literally have 20 minutes right now to record this episode in between coming home from work with a full face of makeup, doing a 10-minute workout, which was all I could fit in, and my husband going to get the kids from daycare. So let's get this episode in. Today's episode is all about packing your baby bag. So of course, one of the items that most parents have on their baby shower list or their to-do list when it comes to what you need to buy before the baby comes is a baby bag. And this is a bag that accompanies you everywhere you go with baby. So it's really like a bit of a lifesaver where you can put every single thing that you need on the go with the baby. And you realize with a baby, especially a newborn, especially perhaps when you're bottle feeding, there's a lot of stuff that you need to bring along with you. So having a really good quality, efficient, well-packed bag goes a long way, because I mean, you cannot bring a suitcase. Even though I know parents, it seems like you have enough of that stuff to fit into a suitcase, you can't. You need a really good versatile bag. So before I get into the list of my recommendation of what you should be packing in your bag so you're not overpacking, but you have every single thing that you need, let's first talk about the bag itself. Now, I've said this in a previous episode where I give my recommendations on what you should be buying before the baby arrives, what you shouldn't be wasting your money on, and what you should be investing in. And when I spoke about a baby bag, one important thing you need to look for, look, you can get whatever baby bag you want. There's really, really fancy ones out there. You can buy an expensive one, or you can buy a super basic one. But the two things that you need to make sure that your baby bag has is, one, a wipeable face. So when I say wipeable, I just mean a baby bag will get dirty. You take it everywhere with you. It ends up on the floor. You end up spilling milk on it. There's probably vomit on it as well. You end up getting some sort of solid foods and puree all over it. Get a bag that is really wipeable. You can get a wipe and just wipe it clean, or even better, machine washable, okay? I'm giving you this warning now so you do not waste your money. My other tip when it comes to a baby bag is do not get a one shoulder style strap baby bag. So you can get one that is one strap, but make sure it has a backpack strap as well. What you don't realize with a baby is that you end up having so much stuff when you leave the house. And you end up also having to carry a baby as well, everywhere basically. Even when you have a pram, sometimes they don't want to get in that pram, which is really frustrating. So having a backpack is really handy because you can just chuck it on your back and then you have two hands, free arms to do whatever, grab the groceries, grab your other bags, this and that. When you only have the one shoulder strap, it's not only super heavy on one of your shoulders, but it just like flings around everywhere and you can get nothing done. It's not versatile, okay? So take those two into consideration when you're buying your baby bag. Make sure it's wipeable or machine washable and also has backpack straps. It'll go a long way, guys. Now let's go into my recommended checklist when it comes to what to pack in your baby bag. So it's a given. We start with nappies, okay? My recommendation when you have a newborn is get 6 nappies in there because, oh my gosh, you are changing so many nappies. Little wheeze, they get annoyed by them, little poos, they're all coming through. But then as your baby gets older and older, you'll start to realize they get into this weird system of like exact time of day when they do a number 2 and how many times a day they do a wee. You can go down to like 4 or 3 as they get older. 1 packet of baby wipes is a must because baby wipes, you don't realize they're not just for wiping your baby's bottom. It is also just for wiping everything. Like your hands get sticky, the bag, as I mentioned, gets dirty, you just wipe everything with these baby wipes. Very super important and needed. 1 packet of nappy bags. Now, when you buy your nappy bags, so these are bags that when you have a dirty nappy, you put inside and you tie it up, and then that just sits there. You might not have, a bin around you. You might be at somebody's house when you have the baby, so you don't really want to be putting this exposed nappy in their bin. These are really, really handy for on the go, and they also really act well as a little garbage bag as well. When you have all these wipes and tissues and all these solids and puree stuff around, you can just chuck that into that bag. A tip here is to get the scented ones, because for obvious reasons. You want to be packing a little nappy cream as well. Now, with the nappy creams, you can buy those smaller versions that are really handy for backpacks. So don't bring the huge nappy cream with you. Just get that little portable one. It's kind of like a travel pack. 1 change of clothes. Okay, so for a baby that's under 6 months old, I will always have a singlet with you, a onesie, and a pair of socks. Depending on the weather, you can also pop a jumper in there as well, of course, if it's a little bit cold. Now, I've mentioned this before as well in other episodes. What you don't realize with a really, really young baby is they're usually in a onesie. We spend all this money getting like cute little jackets and shirts and jeans and socks and like all this stuff for baby. They usually end up in a onesie and like an enclosed foot onesie. So you also just end up wasting money on socks. So yeah, just keep it basic. Singlet, onesie, and a pair of socks in case you need them, if they're in the singlet only. So you also want to be packing 1 spare cloth bib. So this is just to be able to put on the baby if you're feeding them, on your shoulder if you're feeding them, just to kind of clean things up with you. Get 2 mini towels with you as well. So then you've got the bib on the baby that protects them from, getting milk on their clothes, especially if you're out and about and you want them to look good in the outfit that you've put them on. But then the mini towels are things that can go on your shoulder that you can, wipe things down with. Get about 2 of those. They're really little. You can get the really mini ones from anywhere really. Pack those in the bag. You want to bring a hat or a beanie. This is, of course, based on the weather, because you never ever want to be out and about. And for example, you put baby down in the pram, you're trying to get them to sleep, they're a little bit cold, you want to pop that beanie on them. So have that little hat accessory with you. You want to also be packing sunscreen as well. Now, with a very, very young baby, you're obviously always going to be trying to shield them from the sun. You have them, with the pullover cover in the pram and things like that. But if they're out and about really, and they're out in a singlet because it's super summery, you want to have that sunscreen on you just to grab from the bag. Now, the next section is all about milk feeds. And this is really dependent on, at that stage of, baby and parenting, how is your baby feeding? So if you're breastfeeding, for example, you might be thinking about the fact that you need a pump. So then you need to think about the fact that you need to pack all of the pumping gear with you. If you are breast and bottle feeding or just bottle feeding, then you need to think about your bottles, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the bottle feeding, because that was an experience of mine, and I used bottles because I was bottle feeding and I was formula feeding for a while there. So this is what I would recommend. Make sure you fill things like a thermos with hot water in it so you can warm up some water really, really quickly. The formula, you can get these little milk powder dispensers that are really handy for packing formula portions on the go. There's a Philips Avent one that I used religiously, and you basically portion out your formula in each bottle, and it's really, really handy. You also need all of the bottles that you need. So if you're going out and it might be for the entire day, make sure you bring a good excess amount of bottles, because the thing is, unless you are at someone's house, you can't be cleaning those bottles in between feeds and reusing them. And usually we're sterilizing at this age as well. So you want to make sure you have enough bottles, that you have the fresh ones to go and you also have the dirty ones to take home. If you are just going out for a few hours, just a warning here, don't just pack 1 bottle, because you'll end up needing another bottle at some stage. You might stay out longer, or baby is just more hungry. Always have at least minimum 2 bottles, even if you're going out for just an hour. That is just a handy tip for you. Now, in a previous episode as well, all about milk, where I shared all my tips about breastfeeding, bottle feeding, heating up milk, this and that. In that section about heating up milk, I spoke about a really handy tip that I used when going out and about with my baby and preparing formula bottles. So what I explained, and you can go back and listen to this episode, is that I would pre-fill a thermos with boiled water, so super hot, sterile water, and then I'd have another thermos that just had cool boiled water. So it was sterile water, but it was cool. So then what you can do when you're out and about with your baby is you can get each of your bottles and actually pre-fill them with mostly cooled boiled water. So then you have the bottle with cool boiled water, no formula in it yet, and you tie it up, you tighten up the cap and you put it in the bag. Then you accompany that with your thermos with boiled water. And then you basically just can instantly make a bottle of formula because you add in that hot water to the desired temperature, of course, and always testing on your skin to make sure it's not too hot for baby. You add in your formula from that nifty little dispenser that you have. You shake it up, making sure you get the air bubbles out. I also talk about that in that episode about milk. Then you have your formula bottle ready to go. No warming needed, okay? It is so, so simple because I know out on the market at the moment, and with baby products, there's all different baby products being released all the time. There are those portable bottle warmers that you can buy. They're like these little electronic things, but honestly, this was like the simplest way that I figured out to do it, and it was so handy. It was so efficient. So that is my tip there. Now, you also need to be packing anything you need for solid feeds if you are also at that stage. So think about things like food. You can pop that in the thermos, for example. Get one of those from Aldi or Woolies or anything like that. Grab 2 spoons in case one drops. One will drop on the floor. It's a guarantee. Make sure you have your feeding bib and also any snacks that you might be bringing along as well. In your baby bag as well, I want you to make sure that you're putting together a bit of a medicine pack. So, making sure that you have the appropriate medicine for baby in case you're out and about and they need something, and include in there a bit of a thermometer to make sure you can take their temperature while out and about as well. Obviously, a super easy one you can get is one of those, automatic thermometers, the gun ones that you put on your head. Or you can just get one that you pop under the armpit as well. You also want to make sure that you have in your baby bag a portable change mat. Now, most baby bags actually come with one inside. They're usually in some sort of like front pocket or back pocket. But if it doesn't, just bring one with you, or even perhaps bring like a little towel or something, because you never know. You really, really never know where you'll be when you need to change your baby's nappy. It could be in the back of the car. You could be in a park. You could be at a random person's house. Like you just cafe, like anywhere. I have changed nappies in all different locations. So that is your baby bag, and that's the essentials that you should be packing in your baby bag. On a separate note, I also want to touch on a bit of a sleep kit that I had put together when I was taking my babies out and about that really assisted and helped me in trying to get them to sleep while we were on the go. So we talk about sleep on the go in many of our sleep episodes. It is, quite a challenge and it's something to work on, but it's so important for parents to be able to leave their house, leave with their baby, enjoy their life, visit friends, enjoy themselves, go grab a coffee with their mum friends, and be able to still get their baby to have some sort of nap. Low expectations when you're out and about, but some sort of nap. So I used to put together a bit of a sleep kit. So in a separate large kind of cloth bag, I would pack all my baby's bedding for sleeps on the go. So this would be things like a swaddle, a sleeping bag, a blanket, a portable white noise machine. Yes, they make these. They hang on to the pram. They're so amazing. And if you're using comforters as well. So you put that all together in a little bag. It could be one of those, just little cloth bags that you get from, little shops out and about. And then keep that with you as well. Bring it into the car. Even if you think you might not, be out and doing a sleep on the go, it's just handy to have there because then you can stay longer with your friends because you have that kit with you. You can put them to sleep and you can enjoy yourself as well. Now, the other thing and really nifty product that helps with sleep on the go is this thing called a snooze shade. Now, seriously, sometimes I come across baby products. I was talking before about how there's so many out on the market there and they, all trying to get you to spend your money on them. And I go, that is such a waste of money. But the snooze shade range is like such a genius product that I wish I had thought of myself. The snooze shade is a breathable, filtered, like it allows air to move in and out, blackout kind of shade for your pram. It's really, really handy, really nifty. It just helps with blocking out any distractions for baby because of course we know that you cannot be putting blankets over prams or muslin wraps or anything like that. It really traps the heat in there and it's super dangerous for baby. So something like a snooze shade is really handy, especially during, those bright days when you're out and about trying to get baby down to sleep. Now, packing a sleep kit every single time may be a little bit too much effort for you. So if you can, of course, this is just, if you have the means to do so, because everything costs so much money with baby, I understand it's really hard. You could try and purchase doubles of kind of what you use at home, or just get the spare sleeping bag that you're not using at the moment, the one you alternate with, and pack this bag, this sleep kit, and leave it in your car when you're out and about. That way you have what you have at home, and you keep this bag in the bottom of the pram or in the boot of your car, so you never really forget anything and you have that chance to put baby down. In the early days, I'd also always bring along my baby carrier with me as well, in case the pram nap wasn't going well. And some days it won't go well. So baby carrier, of course, so many different brands out there. Some of them are really handy. They can kind of fold into like a tiny little case. But whatever one you buy, it's also handy to just grab that and chuck it in the car or at the bottom of the pram or whatever you need, just to have every single little thing with you, okay? Guys, I have divulged so much in that short amount of time. I hope that has helped you in this topic of how to approach your baby bag, how to get it together for you, what to include in there, how not to overpack. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Comment on the episode. You can do this on your podcast platform. Make sure you're subscribed so that you know next week when the next episode drops, and leave a review. I always like to ask, and I hope that you will. I will be chatting to you next week. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to the Baby Playbook podcast. I so appreciate it.